The sandwich is practically an American institution, a staple of lunchboxes, parties, and picnics. But have you ever wondered about the sandwiches that graced dinner tables in decades past? Today, we're diving into some of the most popular forgotten sandwiches from history. Let's take a trip down memory lane. 1. Creamed corn sandwich. This lunchtime classic was incredibly easy to make. It primarily consisted of creamy, sweet corn kernels, often paired with cheese, vegetables, and herbs, spread on buttered bread. A quick press in a panini maker, and lunch was ready to go. This sandwich was a favorite for those with busy lifestyles, offering a quick and tasty meal. However, as tastes evolved, creamed corn sandwiches faded from popularity. While a rarity in restaurants today, it's still beloved by those who appreciate nostalgic flavors and vegetarian-friendly options. 2. Pimento cheese sandwich. A true American classic, the pimento cheese sandwich was once a household favorite. Originating in the North, it became a southern staple due to the abundance of pimento peppers in the region. The simple yet delicious recipe included mayonnaise, warm milk, shredded cheddar, and pimento peppers spread over fresh bread. While it has waned in popularity, pimento cheese still finds its way into modern kitchens as a sandwich spread, a side dish, or even a burger topping. 3. Anchovy paste sandwich. A major staple in the 1950s and 60s. This sandwich was even referenced in pop culture, including the 1981 James Bond film For Your Eyes Only. The recipe was simple yet flavorful. Crushed anchovies mixed with breadcrumbs, olive oil, milk, and pepper, spread on toast with cucumbers. While its strong flavor isn't for everyone, the anchovy paste sandwich remains a unique and versatile option for those who appreciate bold tastes. 4. Bacon and peanut butter sandwich. An unexpectedly delicious combination, the bacon and peanut butter sandwich was a sensation in the 1950s and 60s. Made with peanut butter, banana slices, and crispy bacon, this sandwich was a nutrient-dense powerhouse. While changing tastes have made it less common, many still swear by this savory sweet delight. If you're feeling adventurous, try adding ketchup or caramelized onions for an extra kick. 5. Mock ham salad sandwich. A Depression-era creation, this sandwich was a clever solution for when real ham was unavailable. It consisted of ground bologna, chopped hard-boiled eggs, onions, sweet pickle, and mayonnaise, creating a spread that mimicked ham salad. As meat became more accessible, the need for a mock version faded, but it still remains a popular choice for those seeking a budget-friendly alternative. 6. Bologna salad sandwich. Rumored to have originated during World War II, this sandwich was a convenient and cost-effective meal. The recipe included ground bologna, hard-boiled eggs, creamy salad dressing, and sweet pickle relish. Left to refrigerate before spreading on sandwich buns, it was an easy, long-lasting meal. As food options expanded, this once popular sandwich lost its prominence but still appears in some nostalgic kitchens. 7. Fried spam sandwich. Spam gained immense popularity during World War II when fresh meat was scarce. A fried spam sandwich made with 11. Chicken liver sandwich. A popular fixture in the 1950s, the chicken liver sandwich was a hearty meal, made by marinating and cooking chicken liver, then layering it with lettuce, tomatoes, and mayonnaise on toasted bread. It was a staple in many households. While not as widely consumed today, it still appears in select bars and diners for those with adventurous palates. Some sandwiches have stood the test of time, while others have faded into obscurity due to changing tastes and the demand for convenience. Let's take a look at some forgotten yet fascinating sandwiches that once graced dinner tables. 1. Chicken liver sandwich. This sandwich was a favorite for many, but it gradually lost popularity due to the time-consuming preparation and the shift towards simpler flavors. Despite this, the chicken liver sandwich still holds a special place in some households. 2. Banana and mayonnaise sandwich. At first glance, combining mayonnaise with bananas might seem odd, but this southern comfort food was once a beloved treat. The creamy tanginess of the mayo complemented the banana's sweetness, making for a surprisingly delicious bite. However, as people moved away from unconventional flavor combinations, this sandwich fell out of favor. 3. Potted meat sandwich. Potted meat, a soft, preserved meat paste, was a convenient way to enjoy a sandwich when refrigeration was limited. Simply spread butter and potted meat between slices of bread for a quick meal. As food preservation methods improved, the need for potted meat diminished, and this sandwich became a relic of the past. 4. Deviled ham sandwich. This spicy ham spread sandwich gained popularity in the late 19th century, with its flavorful mix of ground ham, mayonnaise, mustard, garlic, onions, paprika, and celery salt. However, the preparation time and the shift toward fast food made this once popular sandwich less common over time. 5. Cheese and Marmite sandwich. Marmite, a strong flavored yeast extract paired with cheese made for a bold sandwich choice. Its distinct savory and salty taste was either loved or loathed. As food options expanded, this once common sandwich lost its widespread appeal. 6. Cold meatloaf sandwich. A comforting southern classic, this sandwich consisted of turkey meatloaf, white bread, butter, cheese, and a hint of mayo. Optional toppings like ketchup, tomatoes, hot sauce, or bacon added extra flavor. Despite its nostalgic charm, the shift toward quick and easy meals pushed this sandwich into obscurity. 7. Corned beef tongue sandwich. A high-effort, high-reward sandwich, this dish required slow-cooked beef tongue, combined with carrots, onions, garlic, bell peppers, paprika, and more. While once considered a gourmet home-cooked meal, its labor-intensive process made it less suitable for the fast-paced modern lifestyle. 8. Chicken and cranberry sandwich. This sandwich was a product of the early 20th century's love for cranberry-infused recipes. The combination of shredded chicken, mayo, green onions, dried cranberries, apples, pecans, lime juice, salt, and black pepper created a unique balance of sweet and savory. However, as simpler flavors became the norm, this sandwich faded from popularity. 9. Scrapple sandwich. Scrapple, a seasoned meatloaf made from pork scraps, was a staple in many American homes. Combined with eggs, cheese, and white bread, it provided a hearty breakfast option. Though still enjoyed in some regions, it became less common as people opted for faster morning meals. 10. Head cheese sandwich. Head cheese, a cold cut made from cooked and pressed pig parts, was once considered a gourmet ingredient. When paired with mayonnaise, mustard, and pickles, it made for a rich and flavorful sandwich. However, its unusual ingredients and intricate preparation process led to its decline in popularity. While these sandwiches may not be as popular today, they each have a unique place in culinary history. Have you ever tried any of these? Which one would you bring back? Arthur Treacher's fish and chips took off like a rocket when it launched in 1969. By the mid-70s, the chain had expanded to over 800 locations, bringing a taste of the British seaside to American shores. At a time when burgers reigned supreme in the fast food world, Arthur Treacher's offered something different for seafood lovers. But let's be honest, how many people really knew who Arthur Treacher was? While the restaurant was named after the British actor, customers were far more interested in his fish frying expertise than his filmography. The battered North Atlantic cod fillets, fried to golden perfection, had a signature crunch that was music to the ears. Pair that with thick, hand-cut fries, and you had a meal that felt like a mini vacation, minus the seagulls and unpredictable weather. And who could forget the hush puppies? Were they necessary? Not really. Did people love them? Absolutely. For those looking to break free from burger monotony, Arthur Treacher's was the place to be. But in a fast food market dominated by burgers, the tides eventually turned. The chain struggled to keep up, and as time passed, its once thriving locations dwindled. Today, it's hard to find a place still serving that iconic buttered fish, leaving many wondering why it faded away. Speaking of forgotten favorites, let's talk about Stockies. Stockies began as a humble pecan stand on the side of a Georgia road in the 1930s. But by the 1970s, it had transformed into a nationwide road trip icon with over 350 stores. If you were cruising down America's highways back then, a Stockies stop was almost inevitable. It was where travelers fueled up, grabbed a bite, and loaded up on souvenirs they'd probably regret buying later. Who didn't need a plastic alligator keychain, right? The real charm of Stockies wasn't just in its cozy, family-friendly vibe. It was the snacks, particularly the famous pecan log rolls. A road trip without one of those sugary, nut-covered delights just didn't feel complete. The food itself wasn't anything special. Hot dogs, burgers, and southern comfort dishes. But it was reliable, just like an old friend from middle school. Despite its nostalgic charm, Stuckey's couldn't keep up with the corporate giants that eventually took over highway rest stops. Slowly but surely, the once thriving chain faded into history. Next time you pull into a gas station on a road trip, take a moment to remember the simpler days when Stuckey's was the go-to stop for weary travelers. And speaking of simpler times, few restaurants bring back cherished memories quite like Bennigan's. In its prime, Bennigan's was the go-to spot for a special family dinner. Hardworking parents would take their kids there for a treat. And at the time, few realized the sacrifices they made to create those moments. As a kid, you weren't thinking about the cost. You were just there for the mozzarella sticks. Among casual dining spots like Chili's, TGI Fridays, Applebee's, Red Robin, and Ruby Tuesday, Bennigan's stood out. It had the perfect combination of a lively atmosphere, hearty food, and if memory serves, some of the best chicken tenders known to humankind. Though a handful of Bennigan's locations still exist, they are a shadow of their former selves. The charm and excitement of the original chain seem to have disappeared. Maybe it's nostalgia talking, or maybe restaurants just don't live up to childhood memories. Either way, it's hard not to miss those carefree days when a simple meal at Bennigan's felt like the highlight of the week. Nostalgia makes everything taste better. Either way, Bennigan's in the 70s and 80s was unbeatable. We're going back to back on a trip down memory lane, so let's take you back to a time when casual dining was more than just a microwaved burger. 11. Howard Johnson's was such a friendly place to have good food. Believe it or not, Howard Johnson's was actually great in the 60s and even into the 70s, and we have none other than Jacques Pepin to thank for that. Yes, the Jacques Pepin, a cooking legend, was once developing recipes for them. Who knew fast food could have such a sophisticated sous chef? Howard Johnson's was practically the McDonald's of the 70s. You couldn't miss that signature orange roof, standing tall like a beacon for road trippers across America. With over 1,000 locations, it was a go-to pit stop for anyone hitting the highways. Imagine the variety. fried clams, 28 flavors of ice cream, and a classic grilled hot dog that somehow tasted even better after hours on the road. But like all good things, it didn't last forever. Mix in some questionable management choices and those famous orange roofs started to disappear. By the early 2000s, only one location remained. And in 2017, it finally closed its doors for good. Now, Howard Johnson's is just a distant memory. But let's be honest, did anything ever taste as good as you remember? 12. Lum's, where burgers were cooked to order and beer was on the menu. Lum's started in the early 1950s as a humble hot dog stand in Miami Beach, founded by two brothers with big dreams and a love for hot dogs and beer. By the 70s, Lum's had grown into a national chain with its own quirky spin on fast food. What set Lum's apart? Beer. They were one of the first chains bold enough to serve beer alongside their menu. A cold brew with your hot dog? Now that's an upgrade. The menu was a mixed bag. Hot dogs, burgers, and the pièce de résistance, their famous steamed beer-buttered buns. Seriously, who knew buns could taste that good? Lum's hot dogs wrapped in those steamy buns made every bite feel first class. And let's not forget the Lum's special. A hot dog so loaded with toppings, it could probably double as a building. The vibe was dark wood paneling, a bar in the corner, and an atmosphere that felt more like a local pub than a fast food joint. While it wasn't exactly kid-friendly, Lum's still found a way to fall out of favor with the masses. But up next is a joint where kids of all ages could spend hours inside without feeling out of place. 13. The Brown Derby. What was the Brown Derby like? Imagine eating prime rib, and there's a chance the person at the next table is a movie star, or at least someone playing one. How's that for ambience? Established in 1929, the Brown Derby quickly became the spot to see and be seen in Hollywood. I mean, when your building is shaped like a derby hat, how could you not attract attention? The original location on Wilshire Boulevard became the go-to hangout for movie stars, producers, and anyone who wanted to rub elbows with Hollywood's elite. By the 70s, the Brown Derby had expanded to multiple locations, even landing one at Walt Disney World. The menu was just as iconic, with the legendary Cobb salad, created by the owner, Bob Cobb, yes, that's his real name, alongside prime rib, fried chicken, and other classics. The decor was just as memorable, with walls lined with caricatures of the famous patrons who dined there. But even star power couldn't save it from going under. Still, at least its downfall wasn't as dramatic as the next restaurant on our list. 14. Chi-Chi's Celebration Sampler. Which restaurant had the best Tex-Mex in America before it imploded? Do you really need us to tell you? Founded in Minneapolis, Chi-Chi's quickly became the go-to spot for Tex-Mex cuisine. With its vibrant decor and festive atmosphere, the restaurant was a celebration of culture and flavors. By the late 70s, Chi-Chi's had expanded rapidly, boasting over 200 locations and introducing dishes that would become Tex-Mex staples. Who could forget the signature crispy nachos piled high with melted cheese, jalapenos, and all the toppings? And what about those iconic chimichangas? Chi-Chi's was on fire until it wasn't. A combination of financial mismanagement and one disastrous foodborne illness outbreak led to its eventual downfall. By the early 2000s, Chi-Chi's was all but gone, leaving only memories of sizzling fajitas and frozen margaritas. These restaurants may be gone, but the nostalgia they bring still lingers. Whether it was a plate of fried clams at Howard Johnson's, a beer-steamed hot dog at Lum's, or a larger-than-life Tex-Mex feast at Chi-Chi's, they all played a part in shaping the golden age of dining out. Chi-Chi's created an experience that invited diners to immerse themselves in a lively atmosphere with a margarita in hand. It felt like a mini vacation, right? The restaurant was known for its generous portions and family-style dining, making it the perfect spot for gatherings. But did Chi-Chi's keep up? Some of you must have absolutely loved it. Maybe you always ordered their Monterey chicken enchiladas. But then disaster struck. In one terrible year, a Chi-Chi's in Pittsburgh was hit with a hepatitis A outbreak, traced back to contaminated green onions from Mexico. After that, no one wanted to set foot in a Chi-Chi's again. Next up is a more wholesome story, but that doesn't mean anyone would want to touch this restaurant with a 10-foot pole right now. 14. Victoria Station. When we say Victoria Station was a cut above, we mean it. Like its famous prime rib, cooked and cut to perfection, all aboard the steakhouse train. Truth be told, Victoria Station's origin isn't exactly the stuff of legend, but the story behind its 3-generation legacy of grilling fine steaks is worth sinking your teeth into. Back in the day, when the British governed Malaya, they were too busy with croquet and afternoon tea to worry about cooking. Naturally, the task fell to the butler. But even the most dedicated butler needed help, so he hired kitchen staff. And these weren't just any cooks. They elevated steak grilling to an art form, creating steaks more flavorful, aromatic and appetizing than anything at the average British dinner table. No offense, Brits. The creator of Victoria Station happened to be one of those who mastered the perfect steak. One day, while on vacation in England, the family was riding a train when someone had a genius idea. What if there was a steakhouse inside a train? And just like that, history was made. Or was it? Who wouldn't want to enjoy a fine steak in a train-themed setting? But what caused this popular chain to derail? By the late 1980s, Victoria Station was struggling with financial troubles, unable to keep up with changing dining trends and fierce competition. The novelty of the train car experience couldn't mask operational challenges, and one by one, locations closed. By the early 1990s, most of the restaurants had vanished. Was Victoria Station too much of a high-tech concept? Did that contribute to its downfall? If it did, then what can we say about the next restaurant, which was supposed to be simple, yet exciting enough to survive anything? 15. Roy Rogers. Did you think we'd forget about Roy Rogers? I used to love the double R bar burger. I make my own now, but it's just not the same. Founded in the late 1960s, Roy Rogers was named after the beloved cowboy actor and singer, quickly becoming a staple for families seeking hearty meals. Its first restaurant opened in Virginia, and by the 70s, the chain had over 600 locations. It combined the excitement of the Wild West with quick dining. Who wouldn't want to eat in a place that felt like stepping into a cowboy movie? The star of the show was undoubtedly the roast beef sandwich, served with a variety of fixings. But it didn't stop there. The chain also offered fried chicken, burgers, and their famous Fixins bar, where diners could load up on toppings and sauces. Remember the thrill of customizing your sandwich just how you liked it? And let's not forget the crispy fries that always seemed to disappear too quickly. So, what happened? Whatever it was, it hit hard. Roy Rogers plummeted from the heights of dining to the bottom of the barrel. Speaking of the bottom of the barrel, let's talk about a restaurant that knows it all too well. 16. Shoney's Big Boy. Shoney's Big Boy sure made a big deal about quality. Originating in the late 1940s, Big Boy and its distinctive mascot, a cheerful figure with a double-decker burger, became an American icon. Shoney's was like a home away from home at its peak. Who needed a kitchen when a Shoney's was right around the corner? The menu was a buffet of comfort food, featuring the signature Big Boy Burger, a juicy double-decker topped with lettuce, tomato and special sauce. But the real draw? The all-day breakfast offerings, fluffy pancakes, sizzling bacon and omelets that could satisfy even the heartiest appetite. Can you remember the joy of digging into a plate of crispy, perfectly seasoned hash browns? Families flocked to Shoney's for its generous portions and all-you-can-eat salad bar, making it a go-to spot for birthdays and graduations. While it may be gone now, the original still holds a special place in people's hearts.